Welcome to Power Talk. I'm your host, OG Chris Murray, man. It's that time again, baby. Y'all know what it is. Road to greatness, man. But before we get into the show, let me introduce my co-host, man. I got Jay joining me, the owner of the Seattle Seahawks. What's going on, Jay?
Let's get it, boy. Almost high stakes season. I'm ready. Let's get it.
All right, man. We got a new voice, man. That's cracking the DML shows, man. We got Ray, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. What's going on, Ray?
What's good, bro? I'm hyped up, man. First video, playoff time. Don't get no better than that, man.
Yeah, man. Now, unfortunately, like Ray just said, man, he's the only, person on the show that's in the playoffs, man. But I'm coming to you, Jay, man. What was going on with your season this year, man? You missed the playoffs by a couple games.
Yeah, even with 10 wins, I couldn't sneak in there. Probably should have took a couple games more serious. I slept on at least two of those guys that really just came out and got the W against me. We've had a really good season with a lot of my players. Reggie the Bulldog Bradham, he's up for 4 awards. So there's been a lot of bright spots on this team. Shout out to Hamilton for injuring Colbert on the first play. He was my real big threat in that MVP race. And then shout out to Underrated for slowing down that high power Patrick Mahomes. It looks like Bradham might lock up the MVP award, which could be the first defensive player to win the MVP this cycle. So other than missing the playoffs by a game or two, I was pretty excited about the season.
Yeah, man. Like I'm gonna have to just piggyback off what you just said. I took a lot of games this season for granted, and I just wasn't taking them very serious, man. So it was a disappointing season. But my rookie Roberts, man, he came out and he balled out on all cylinders. So I'm excited to see what that young guy can do next season as we head into high stakes. But let's not hold the people up, man. Let's dive into this top 10 list on who we think that has the best odds at achieving greatness in this postseason. Coming in at the number 10 slot, we have under 2 rated in the Washington Redskins. Now, surprisingly, these Redskins, man, are getting hot at the right time because this was something that the Washington Redskins organization have not seen all cycle, and that is the playoffs. But, however, under 2 rated comes in with an 83 overall ranked team. Daddy Lee has them ranked 11th in points per game, putting up 23, and offensive yards total they have them ranked 28th, only putting up a total of 234 yards per game. On the defense side of the ball, they have them ranked 5th in points allowed, only allowing 15 points, and the defensive yards they have them ranked 5th also, but only giving up a total of 250 yards. Now, watching this Washington Redskins team and under 2 rated, watching them throughout the season, I'm thinking that these guys are the new no-fly zone. They have lockdown guys such as Malik Spears at the cornerback position, Samuel Beasley at the cornerback position, and Monte Nicholson at the strong safety position that seems to be out there flying all over the field, causing turnovers, knocking down balls, and just pretty much taking out top receiving threats. However, they did, cause a total of 46 interceptions, which is by far looking like they're the new Legion of Boom out there in Washington. But the question I have for my co-host is, do you guys think on the offensive side of the ball, where the quarterback can't take care of the ball, he threw a total of 42 interceptions, can this be a problem and impact the Washington Redskins' chances at making a deep playoff run? I'm gonna come to you first on that, Jay. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, the offense has always kind of been his little, he's got 2 starters hurt on the offensive side of the ball, the rookie left tackle and the rookie running back. But his problem has been trying to find a suitable quarterback. And even though, he's always had those filler guys, this entire cycle he's kind of passed on picking quarterbacks to get that defense so ready. But that defense, he really comes out and surprises a lot of people. You listed off the stats. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up with a good wild card matchup and his defense won a game for him. I wouldn't expect that offense to do much, but that defense has enough firepower to actually pull off a playoff win.
Yeah, okay, I like that. So, Embryo, my fault. Ray, what's your thoughts on under 2 rated and those Redskins coming at the number 10 slot? Do you think they can make a deep playoff run, or is this just, smoke and mirrors?
I mean, I think they might be able to squeeze out a win in the wild card, depending who the matchup is, man. He might get KP and the Bears. I mean, he might get Sweets. He might get the new Packers owner. It kind of depends on the matchup, but I'm a big person on turnover differential, man. Turnovers will kill you, and biggest thing is when your quarterback's throwing 40-plus interceptions, that's not good. Even though your DBs are out there ball hawking, snacking everything that comes at them, I mean, when you can't score touchdowns and you can't, stop turning the ball over, it's going to shoot you in the foot eventually. So, kind of depends on the matchup. If he goes against Sweets, I mean, I'd have to lean towards Sweets on that one. But he's already proven he could beat KP. He already proved this year he went head to head, final second matchup with the new Packers owner. So, I think he can do it, but he needs to ride the defense and not turn the ball over.
Got you. And I totally agree with you on that one, because in the playoffs, man, you do not want to shoot yourself in the foot and try to come out and you're throwing 9 picks, 7 picks. That's just not going to cut it in the DML. But shout out to Under 2 Radio, man, for cracking the DML list on the best odds at achieving greatness this postseason. But moving on, we got the Bus and the Chicago Bears coming at the number 9 slot, who has a 17-2 odds on achieving greatness this postseason. Okay, the Bus comes in with an 89 overall team. Daddy Lee has him ranked 12th in points per game, putting up 23. Offensive yards per game, he had him ranked 19th, putting up 278. On the defensive side of the ball, his team is only allowing 18 points per game, which has got him ranked 12th in the DML. And defensive yards, he's ranked 6th, only giving up a total of 206 yards. Man, we all know the Bus, man, what he likes to do. And in my opinion, it is a solid offense of game plan when you're heading into the playoffs, which is that ground and pound, and he knows how to run the rock. But my question to you, Jay, because this is a guy, you come familiar playing against.
Yep.
Is this going to be the same exact Chicago Bears team that we have grown accustomed to of seeing in the playoffs, or are we going to finally see the Bus pretty much, crack through the ceiling and make a deep playoff run? Or is this just going to be a wild card matchup where he's going to just, come out and take an early exit?
I think finally this is the year that you just mentioned it, ground and pound the football. He's going to get his second best running back, the sophomore. He's 81, Howard Seawright. Mm-hmm. He's a sneaky beast, and obviously we know about colors. So being healthy is the first step. So he's completely healthy going into this wild card round. I'm looking for KP to finally get past that wild card again, and his team. I don't expect his team to come out and flatline like they have in the past. I'm pulling for KP to get that wild card W.
Okay, now, Ray, you watch, multiple matchups in previous postseasons in the DML. What are your thoughts on the Bears, coming in at this number 9 slot?
I mean, man, the biggest thing is that Jay is not in the playoffs this year, and that's been his kryptonite. I think the last 3 playoffs, man, Jay's beating him, and I think it's really irked KP. I think the notion that he chokes in the playoffs kind of bothers him. So I think if KP does his thing, plays his game, I think he can, pull off a deep playoff run. When he starts throwing the ball 30, 40 times, it's not too good, man. But when he pounds the rock and he plays defense, he's tough to beat. I've played KP a lot of times in multiple leagues. I played him, it's this year in the Dynasty, and he's not easy, man. He knows how to play defense, and his secondary is huge. He retooled the secondary. I mean, he's got Faison, he got Griffin, Samuel, a lot of speed back there now, and the biggest thing for him is just to stay focused and to not turn the ball over, because when he looks great, he's not turning the ball over. Kind of like Under, man. I mean, when he starts chunking the ball around trying to be Peyton Manning, kind of shoots himself in the foot, and he gets frustrated, and that's his downfall. So if he goes out there and he plays that Chicago Bear football and grounds and pounds and plays defense, I think he can do it, man.
Yeah, I'm going to say the exact same thing. I'm going to piggyback off what you just said. When he decides to adjust his game and start to pass the ball, that's not the Bus that we're used to seeing. So I think he has to, like you said, ground and pound and rely on that defense. And I think that he could probably potentially make a deep postseason run, but the NFC, man, whoo, it's stacked out there, man. So I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing those matchups. But moving on, though, man, to the number 8 slot, we have Andy Forrest and those LA Chargers cracking the top 10 list. He comes in with an 88 overall team. Daddy has him ranked 6th in points per game, putting up 28. Wow, that's a lot of points. Has him ranked number 1 in total offensive yards per game, putting up 373 yards. Woo! That offense is blazing. Dang. And on the defensive side of the ball, they have him ranked 13th, putting up a total of only allowing 19 points per game, and then only allowing 277 defensive total yards per game, which has him ranked 18th. Now, we already know when you talking LA, baby, like you seen the stats. Key factors, man, heading into this postseason is totally offense of team. Rashard Bash, okay, that solid running game, no matter who's back there running the ball. Then he has Mike Williams playing lights out, and what's the other wide receiver name? I believe.
Yeah, Ellis.
It's
Epps. Yeah, both of them. He's got almost
Leonard
3 wide
Epps.
receivers. Yeah, pushing for 1,000 yards. He was really close to having that.
This guy, man, is a he's an offense machine. Like, this dude is like a mastermind when it comes to getting top production out of his offense. But even though the offensive stats is glittering gold, do you guys believe that this offense, even how high powered it is, you got Rashard Bass, like we just said, Leonard Epps, and Forrest Ellis, who all are dangerous weapons, paired with a solid run game. Do you think that offense is enough to get you through the postseason in the DML, or defense is? I'm gonna let either one of y'all, man, y'all can have first dibs on that question.
Well, I mean, he's got expert in the wild card round. It's already set, man. And if you go into that game with the mentality, I'm going to chunk the ball around all game, you got Jalen Ramsey, you got Miles Jack, you got that pass rush. I mean, that's not the mindset that I would take going in there. I wanted to throw the ball around. I mean, Jared Barrett, the quarterback, every season, the dude's putting up gaudy numbers. We all know about Bass and what he does on the outside, but and you got to find that run game. I mean, Stevenson ran for over 1,000, just barely, but he's got to be able to get a consistent run game to keep those DBs honest and keep the linebackers, sucking up. If not, Miles Jack is going to have the middle of the field taken away, and we all know what Ramsey does. So, my personal opinion, you got to have a balance on offense. You can't just go out there and say, hey, I'm going to pass it all game, because when you got users like Expert and some of those guys in the AFC, it ain't going to work out too well for you. We all know Andy's won a banner. He hung the first one this cycle, so I mean, he's got the mentality, he's got the user skills for it. But I think if he finds a run game, he'll be all right. But he's got to be able to be more balanced.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying here. And I when you're going up against Expert, he's a proven guy in the DML, and I'm gonna need this guy. I'm calling out Clayton Martin. He's a right outside linebacker for the Chargers. This guy has to step up. He has 8 sacks on the season. He doesn't really pick off the ball, but when you're playing Expert, he likes to develop a lot of long developing routes. To get into Expert's head, you need to pressure the quarterback. I'm looking for Clayton Martin. If he wants to win this wild card matchup, him and a couple of these other guys have to sack the quarterback, and if that goes, everything else will fall into place, and the Chargers can try to pull the upset out against Expert. I'm calling out Clayton Martin from Utah, 6 years in the league. Time to step up in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm happy you mentioned that, Jake. That's the first thing I was going to say. Even though I like everything about this LA Chargers team, man, this team is flat out by far one of the most dangerous offensive teams inside of the postseason. But he's going up against a guy who, like you mentioned, he loves to run the rock, and he loves to make those deep developing routes. His front four on that defensive side of the ball and those linebackers are going to have to help that secondary out and get pressure on whatever quarterback decides. Expert decides to go with in this matchup, whether it's Dak Prescott or the other guy, I forget his name, that
He don't count, man. He came from HBO, so you know he sucks.
Damn.
But
shots fired.
But
Kevin Bissell.
There we go, Kevin Bissell. But he's going to have to get pressure on the quarterback because if he don't, his secondary, even though his secondary has some solid pieces, they're going to get torched. So just a little free chicken, Andy Forrest. You got to get pressure on the quarterback if you plan on getting out of the wild card round. But if you don't, it is what it is. But moving on, let's go to this number 7 slot. We have Ray in the Philadelphia Eagles, baby. Ooh, I love seeing my birds up there, man. It looks so beautiful up there. But Ray, man, took over the Philadelphia Eagles and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He kept them boys hot. He's coming in with the 86 overall team. Daddy Lee has him ranked 4th in points per game, putting up 30. Dang. Seeing a lot of offense, y'all. Seeing a lot of offense. When this defense going to step up? But on the offense, total yards, they have him ranked 6th, putting up 319 yards. And on the defense side of the ball, he's ranked 8th, only allowing a total of 16 points per game. And defensive yards, he's ranked 7th, only giving up 252. Looking at this Philadelphia Eagles team, a lot of people, in my opinion, thought that they were going to fall off once they decided to part ways with owner Matty Ice. But Ray came in and showed that he can fill the shoes. And as you can see, stat-wise, this is a balanced team on both sides of the field, whether it's offense or defense. And they starting to get some guys back healthy. Their offense is still looking good, and their defense is looking even more hungrier. But the question I have for you, Ray, is you already know I'm coming with it. Did your guys take their vitamins? Did they drink some milk?
Man, I tell you
are they ready to play, man, or are they gonna be dropping off like flies, man? What we seen throughout this whole season, like, are they ready to? Are they actually healthy, or is it smoke and mirrors?
Man, I hope it's not smoke and mirrors because I was really wanting that bye week. As you guys know, Taz could have done a whole episode of the Hurt Locker just on my team alone. Bradley Chubb was out, Myles Garrett, Fletcher Cox, Harris Glennon, Josh Rosen. I mean, I think I had like 6 defensive linemen out, man, and most of them guys didn't play for most of the season. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, to come in at those ratings, to come in at 14-2, I was pretty impressed that the team was able to, come together and still ball out with so many premier players. I mean, Rosen missed half the season, man. He came back, and then the first game came back, got hurt again. Same thing with Myles Garrett. I mean, I had to limit those guys' reps the last couple of weeks just because I didn't want them to get hurt. Mm-hmm. I think the 5 weeks going to help. The only person I don't think will get back is Bradley Chubb. If we make it to the conference finals, we'll get the Bradley Chubb back. Mm-hmm. But I can live without him as long as I get the rest of those guys back and they're ready to roll. Mid-season, man, I had to fire the trainer. I was getting tired of seeing it every week. I was getting depressed. I'm like, man, here goes another one. Here goes another one. So we made a change at the training staff. Hopefully it makes a world of difference because we're trying to hang a banner in our first year in the DML.
So I like it.
I'm hoping that it's not smoke and mirrors.
Bringing that fire, boy. Say trying to hang a banner his first season in the DML, which I don't think has been done yet.
First time for everything, baby.
Yeah, I like it. I've said this to you in a couple of our party chats, man. Congrats on being called up, man. You got blessed with an amazing team. It rarely happens when someone does call up. That's usually because the owner's been horrible at his job. But the team is set for you. It comes down to pretty much stick skills. This goes back to our year 1. Stick skills king. Roll all. This is that time where your team is in place. It comes down to the stick skills, and I could see this, him shocking a couple people this playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the last Final Four teams playing.
Yeah, man, like I said, man, this is a team that I'm pretty sure by far a lot of guys thought was going to just fall off the mat because the type of win mentality that previous owner Matty Ice installed out there in Philadelphia, a lot of guys probably thought that was going to be hard to fill, but man, Ray came in, kept this team hot, and one thing I like about this team is they're so good on both sides of the ball. So I'm looking forward to
balanced.
What you want to do in the play on your very first postseason run in the DML. I'm excited for it, man. Hopefully you make a deep run. But moving on, coming into the number 6 slot, we have tight work and those Miami Dolphins. Okay, tight work has 11-2 odds at achieving greatness this postseason. He comes in with an 87 overall ranked team. Daddy Lee has him ranked on the offensive side of the ball 11th in points per game, putting up a total of 23. Offensive total yards is not that great, but it's okay because he made it to the playoffs. He has him ranked 22nd, only putting up a total of 252 yards. And this is when things start to get very interesting about this Miami Dolphins team. That defense, they're ranked 2nd in points allowed, only giving up a total of 12 points per game. Them boys are stingy, man. They ain't giving lick of nothing out there in Miami. And only giving up a total of 250 defensive yards per game. They are ranked 2nd. Now, the key factor coming into the playoffs, when you talk about this Miami Dolphins team, you have to talk about sacks, baby. You gotta talk about sacks. He shattered the DML total team sacks record this year, pulling in a whopping total of 99 sacks.
Damn.
99 sacks. I don't care what quarterback you have, what quarterback you're controlling. When you look at that sack, and you see 99, that's putting fear in any quarterback in the DML. And guys are going to have to figure out how to block this Miami Dolphins front four. I'm gonna go to you first on this one, Jake. What's your thoughts after just hearing that? 99 sacks?
Yeah, it's insane. He's got 2 guys with 20 plus sacks. I mean, right there's 40 sacks between 2 guys. It's really insane. He's got 2 right ends with 20 plus sacks, and then he has a left end that has 15 sacks. This guy it's insane how he's being able to get his guys to produce numbers. It's not like Tight is up there every year to draft these amazing players. He's picking and finding these guys in late rounds or later in the first round. So touche to him being able to get these lower draft picks to be able to produce at such a high level. Mm-hmm. I don't know what him and Sweets know that I don't know, because it just seemed like a couple years ago they weren't getting this, and now him and Sweets got all these sacks. So I hang out with them on a daily, so I'm kind of wondering if they really are my true friends, because I ain't putting up those kind of sack numbers, so I don't know. It seems kind of suspicious.
But the Bulldog got 13 sacks, man. They're teaching you something.
It's crazy, man. 90, it's just we're not even talking about nothing else as far as Miami Dolphins team. We're talking about 99 sacks. That's ridiculous, man. I listen. I got a chance to actually play against this Dolphins team this year, and when I tell you, I have the fastest quarterback in the DML, with Lamar Jackson. When I tell you, every single time I drop back, it was like hike, one step drop back. Mm-hmm. They were just destroying my offensive line. I'm talking about I got a solid, I ain't gonna say the best, but an okay offensive line. I'm talking about these guys were just like, excuse me. Lamar Jackson got sacked like 12 times that game. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, my fault. I will say just one thing. We talk so much about this defense, but I am just, how did the AFC let his offense is just so bad this year. I really don't know what it is, if he's just the playbooks or he just is focusing on other things. But Gilbert Reeves only has 5 passing touchdowns at 28 interceptions, and this dude is high on this list, the odds of winning this year's banner. Mm-hmm. So that right there, it's such an off-telling story. I'm really surprised to see this. And I'm really curious to see if Gilbert Reeves will forget about this regular season and hit the reset mode on the playoffs. He's going to have to play 3 amazing games. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see how he performs.
That's the thing right there, man. What is so special about the DML? If you listen, guys better take note. When you are a top tier user in the DML, you have 2 modes. All right. One mode is just get to the playoffs. That's it. I'm getting to the playoffs. No matter how I get to it, I'm gonna get to the playoffs. That second mode that you turn on is called Baby. It's playoff time in the DML. And this is why I believe tight work, even though them stats are not pretty, we all know it's a different tight work when it comes to playoff time. And that's just what's so special about the Dynasty League, man. But I'm going to come to you, Ray, on this one. What's your thoughts? Even though the offensive stats are not pretty like Jay mentioned, what's your thoughts on tight work coming in at number 6?
I think that's a good spot for right now, man. I mean, I would have had him maybe at 5. But like Jay just said, man, I was gonna pull from it that Gilbert Reeves is the X factor in my opinion, man. Mm-hmm. 5 touchdowns to 20 interceptions, got sacked 47 times, only 50% completion percentage. That's not good, man. I don't care what team you play for, what division you're in, what conference you're in. That's just bad quarterback play. And Todd and I have talked about it before, man. His quarterback misses some wide open guys. It's not like he's doing something wrong. It's just the quarterback is just the game's in his head right now, and the defense is only giving up 12 points a game, so you don't have to score that much to win ball games. Mm-hmm. And you can see Ty work don't stat pad. He don't do anything super crazy. He wins ball games, man. In the playoffs, it don't matter how you win, as long as you're winning. He could go out there and run, he can go out there and score 14 points a game as long as he's only giving up 12. And if he wins, he's happy. Mm-hmm. So my thing is he rides the defense. 99 sacks. That right there is crazy in its own. But if he can have Gilbert Reeves throw some nice touchdowns, not turn the ball over, I think he's going to be all right. I think Ty Work's going to have a good chance of making it back to the AFC chip.
Okay. So, man, I see what happened, man. But moving on, coming at the number 5 slot, we have Expert in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Expert come in with a 78 overall ranked team, which shows you that the overall doesn't mean anything. It's all about the user that's controlling them. Daddy Lee has him ranked 5th in points per game, putting up a total of 28 points per game. On offensive yards per game, they have him ranked 7th, putting up a total of 323 yards. And on the defensive side of the ball, they have him ranked 9th and only allowing 17 points per game and only allowing 272 yards per game, which has him ranked 12th. Now, when you talking Jacksonville Jaguar football, one guy comes to mind. Yes, we all know, Jalen Ramsey, but that's in real life. We talking about the Expert Jacksonville Jaguars, and that man's name is Mr. Myles Jack. Arguably the best linebacker in the DML. Some guys might go Clemens, some guys might go D'Angelo, the other guy that's out there in New Orleans, but by far, the argument, it's a balanced argument. But Mr. Myles Jack, man, this is a guy that you have to know where he's at and what side of the field he's locking down, because this dude, man, he is a ball hawk. He racked up 15 INTs, which contribute to Jacksonville secondary causing 47 of those. So he pretty much took majority of those interceptions, those team interceptions that the Jacksonville locked up this year, all by just him alone. Of course, Expert was controlling him. Some guys have crowned him the Alert King in the DML, but Myles Jack is a guy that can pretty much change the game. But the thing about it is this right here that I have paid close attention to with this Jacksonville Jaguars team. They're ranked top of the league in giving up penalty yards. They finished this season locking in a total of 581 yards. Now we all know you guys have to be disciplined in the playoffs, because when you're getting those penalties out there, man, that can switch things. We already know how that mad momentum is. When you got somebody in, a 3rd and 10 and you about to get them off the field, and then, they do a little draw play or they do a little quick screen and your guy come out there and get called for a face mask or an offside penalty. How much of an impact with these Jacksonville Jaguars not being disciplined throughout the regular season may cause them in the postseason that their odds at achieving greatness is postseason? I'm going to go to you on that one, Jay. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's huge. It's great that you brought that up, because I almost did my graphic of the most penalized teams, and I was looking at it, and he was up there for the yards, and I was just going through them, and that is brutal for a team that is winning. You just keep those are big momentum plays, because you could push for something. You need this extra down, or you need this extra yards, or it's a 3rd down, and then it becomes even longer. Discipline is huge, and I'm looking at his offensive line, and it's clear to me that he is struggling to find a left tackle or whether he's starting him at right. But he's got 2 left tackles, one Ray Sanders. Mm-hmm. He's allowed 23 sacks on the season, and the other left tackle, Cam Robinson, who's getting up there in age, he's done 17. So that fears me a little bit that the offensive line seems undisciplined, and now they're allowing sacks heavily on one side, on probably the most important side, and you just go through, even the right guard has 8. That seems really high for a team of his caliber, and like you speak on it, that just came down to stick skills because his team is so low overrated that Expert's such a great user that, you know, he's trying to overcome a lot of these things, and I like his place at number 5 here. I think it's a good spot. 5-4-ish is a great spot for Expert because he is, you know, he can catch that AFC off guard. But that alone, he really, before high stakes, hopefully he can address that big time going in the off season.
Okay. Cool. So Ray, I'm coming to you on this one, man. What's your thoughts on Expert cracking the, you know, number 5 list? You on number 5 on the list. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, like you guys said, man, the rating, I was shocked when I saw the rating was at 78. I mean, you would think Jacksonville Jaguars, Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack, just those 2 alone, you're like, man, that rating's got to be pretty high. So for him to be at number 5 and then him to put up the record he did, and, you know, it just speaks to volumes of his user skills. But, man, it's more impressive that his quarterback, Dak Prescott, didn't play for, you know, a good chunk of the back half of the season, and he was rolling with the backup Kevin. You know, and he was still doing his thing, and I think a lot of those penalties came from the holding calls. I mean, that offensive line is not very good, and he likes those, you know, play action crossers and those deep routes, those deep developing routes, and you got to hold the ball a little bit longer. But I think with Dak Prescott being able to be a little bit more mobile and fitting more of his style, I think in the playoffs, I think the penalties will kind of die down a little bit and him get back to his normal football. But the penalties will kill you in the playoffs, man. Penalties and turnovers. I mean, that's not a good combination, man. So if he can die on the penalties, I think he'll be all right. I mean, he's last couple of seasons he's gotten pretty close, man. His a banner in the 2019 cycle is at the tip of his tongue, and he's wanting it. So I think this is the time for him to put it all together and try to snag one from the AFC.
Yeah, man, like, that's my whole thing. Everything's there out there in Jacksonville, you know, but like Jay said, man, you have to figure out how to protect your quarterback, man, because you're going up against, you know, like we just mentioned, you got a team that has 99 sacks in the postseason. So, you know, I mean, I'm just interested to see what's going to happen this year, man. It's wide open in my opinion. But moving on, coming at the number 4 slot, we have Sweets 99 in the San Francisco 49ers. Sweets coming with an 89 overall team. On the offensive side of the ball, they have them ranked 4th in points per game, putting up 29 points. Offensive total yards, they have them ranked 5th, putting up 333 yards. On the defensive side of the ball, they have them ranked, which is crazy when you're putting up 29 points. You're only allowing a total of 14 points. Woo! Dang, that's a lot. Woo! Okay, that defense nasty out there too. And the defensive yards are only allowing a total of 220 yards, which have them ranked 3rd in the DML. Now, key factors, man, when you're talking about this San Francisco 49ers team, which I like, is that rookie quarterback, Benjamin Underwood. Now, this guy showed throughout the regular season, you know, he was the guy that can take control of this offense and they can trust him. But even though he threw a total of 33 touchdowns, he did show rookie mistakes and racked up a total of 35 interceptions. Can this guy put it all together and figure out how to shake those rookie woes and perform under the big lights this postseason? Jay, I'm coming to you first because this is your division meet, so you got a chance to actually play against this guy. What's your thoughts on him? But Jay seemed like he's having some technical difficulties. I'm coming to you, Ray, on this one. What's your thoughts on Mr. Benjamin Underwood this season?
Man, he was an impressive rookie. I mean, for him to fall that far in the draft and for Sweets to pick him up when he did, I mean, that's exactly the kind of quarterback he wanted. I mean, he's had multiple guys this cycle. I mean, he had Jimmy Garoppolo, he had Josh Allen, he had so many different quarterbacks. He was trying to find that guy that fit what he did. And when he landed him, it was a perfect fit. And what's the quarterback's best friend? A run game. And I think the biggest key right now is Nyheim Hines. He got hurt, man. I think it was either week 16 or week 17. He got an injury. I think he was out for like 5 weeks. And that could potentially cost him his playoff run. And that big ball of a running back he's got, a converted fullback, Crittenden. I mean, he's nice, but he's not Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines has like 93, 94 speed. Crittenden, he's more of like a bowling ball. So I think it limits the run game. I think defenses are going to be able to, for lack of better terms, kind of squeeze down on his offense. And if he tries to pass all game, I think it's going to end up hurting him. But Sweets is a baller, man. I mean, that dude does it year in and year out. I mean, he plays phenomenal defense, phenomenal offense. I mean, he's one of the best users in the dynasty. I mean, he does everything great. I mean, there's not one part of his game you're like, yo, man, he struggles. I mean, he does everything the way he wanted. And his roster, I mean, is stacked. So, I mean, it's he's right where he needs to be in this ranking.
Yeah, he's I say this every time we do this show. He's always in it. It's been awesome and an honor playing him in this division this entire cycle. He makes me a better player when I do play him. He makes me work for my wins. And I just got to touch on real quick this Nick Hunter guy who's battling my rookie for Defensive Player of the Year. How does a guy go? Last year he only had 8.5 sacks. Year before that, 8. This year, the dude has 27.5 sacks. If I'm not mistaken, that has to be either the record or broke it.
He had half those against me, man.
He said how many sacks?
He has 27.5. I know Fletcher Cox, he was up there one year. He might have broke it the first time.
No, that record, I think it's 34.
34. So, I mean, he's right there, but 27 sacks, it's insane. As far as the rookie quarterback, he usually, I've seen him, I played him probably week 1, the dude torched me, and then we played again, and I made him throw 4 or 5 interceptions, 3 of them to my rookie. So you hit on it. The quarterback, is he going to be ready for these big lights? Because he's going to have to go in and play a lot of good NFC teams, and we all know it. The matchup of the 49ers and the Saints are more than likely going to happen, and we'll see how he really shows up and steps up. And like you said, I love this team. It's well built, owned by a great owner. I'm always pushing for Sweets when it's not against me.
Yeah, man. So I'm just gonna chime in. With Hines going down throughout the regular season, Sweets was able to lock in 20 total rushing touchdowns. Okay, 10 from Hines, 10 from his backup. Now, when you got a rookie quarterback going into the postseason, who was pretty much throughout the whole season dependent on a solid run game, when you lose a key guy that helped this quarterback out throughout the whole season, that can play a huge impact. Huge, man. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how Sweets adjusts his game. You know, because I'm definitely, this rookie guy throughout the regular season showed that he can ball. He's a baller. But he had that run game with him. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Because it's going to be crazy, man. But
I think it's time for him to do the load management with Nyheim Hines. Because this isn't the first time Hines has dropped dead in the water right before the playoffs. So coming high-stakes season, if Hines is still on this team, maybe there's a load management for this guy, because I think Sweets could still get away with, winning some games without him and saving him for that playoff to at least make that Elite 8. It's curious to see how that does happen.
All right, man. But moving on to the number 3 slot, which he dropped a couple slots. We have Eddie 5 and those New Orleans Saints. Now, Eddie comes in with a 92 overall ranked team, which is the highest in the DML right now. First in points per game, putting up 35. Third in total offensive yards, putting up 365. The defense, in my opinion, matches the offense, which is crazy. Defense only allowing a total of 14 points per game, which has them ranked 3rd in the DML. Defensive yards allowed, ranked 6th, only giving up a total of 251 yards. Now, what is it there to like about this New Orleans Saints team? Okay, key factors. You already had that. Everybody already know me. I'm a wide receiver guy, man. I love my speedy wide receivers, okay? First off, big mistake in the DML. Von Miller goes over there. He has an impressive season this year. He gets 1,205 receiving yards and 17 touchdowns. No problem. This guy goes out last offseason, pairs Von Miller with a rookie wide receiver by the name of Paul Hamilton, who came off of one of the most impressive rookie wide receiver seasons besides my guy Roberts. But this dude torched the DML. Over 1,900 receiving yards. Over 20 receiving touchdowns. What's going on, man? Like, this is crazy. But the Saints are having one of those things called an Achilles heel. We got Will Clemens. He's hurt. The Saints are bringing him back early. They're right now currently battling for a first round bye. The question that I have for my co-hosts is, now we seen what happened when the Golden State Warriors decided to rush one of their superstar players back. Do y'all think that the New Orleans Saints are making the right choice at bringing Will Clemens back early after suffering a ruptured disc? Do you think they're making the right move?
Man, me personally, I mean, it's playoff time, man. I mean, you're a 9'9" linebacker. You've been proclaimed by the whole DML as the best linebacker in the DML, and it's time to ball out, man. I mean, he's not going to catch a slouch in the wild card round, and if he has to play KP or the new Packers owner, I mean, it's not going to be an easy game, and you got to have your full effect on the field. And my personal opinion, if he's able to play and you feel comfortable playing him, hey man, go out there and play ball, because at the end of the day, you play one game at a time in the playoffs. I mean, you can't sit there and hold guys, for next season, because next season could come faster than you think. And I think he's making the right move, man. He's a 9'9" for a reason. He's the best linebacker in the DML for a reason. I think without a shadow of a doubt, man, he's making the right move.
Yeah, I'm going to have to piggyback on that, because really anymore, when you do bring these guys back, really all he is sacrificing when you go to the player cards is, and now these numbers are going to sound crazy, but at least he still is going to have his man zone, speed, all that jumping, everything you really need to user a guy. He's really only suffering where the stamina and injury. So yes, obviously that's clear that if you play a guy, he's probably going to get re-injured or possibly not. But he's only minus 3 categories on this entire spreadsheet of attributes he has, and I take the risk as well. It's a little bit different. I'm not sure if he knew that he would be playing in the wild card. I think that's going to be a surprise if that's how the order happens and he's in the wild card. So I don't know if he made this decision thinking, okay, I'm going to have an extra week like I always do every season, but this season's a little different. So now he's going to have to go 4 straight games with a guy that is, playing with -11 on strength, -14 on injury and stamina. So it's a risk, but like you say, it's a DML playoffs. Go in or go out. So I like the call here.
Yes, and like you say, you all in my opinion. But he got Alvin Kamara out. He got his solid right tackle. I'm just interested to see how he's going to get over this hump, because when you lose a guy like AK-47, and then you got Will Clemens, who by far, I just want to see how he's going to be moving around out there on the field. Yeah. So when you're taking those key hits,
three players that are injured are over 91 overall. So that alone would crush any team. But it's going to be awesome to see how it pans out. That wild card, I think, definitely is something to watch out for. for him having to play an extra game this year.
So I'm just interested to see. But it's going to be a good playoffs. But moving on to the number 2 slot, we have KP and the Kansas City Chiefs, who has a 7-2 odd chance at achieving greatness this postseason. He comes with an 85 overall ranked team, second in points per game, putting up 33 points, first in total offensive yards per game, putting up a total of 379. And on the defense side of the ball, he's ranked 11th, only allowing a total of 18 points per game. Defensive yards, he's ranked at the bottom pack of the league, 23rd, giving up a total of 292 yards. Now, this Kansas City Chiefs team is blazing hot, but I have one question for the people. Okay, I'm gonna try to pronounce this guy's name. His name is Foy Sade, and I'm not even gonna try the last name. Okay. If somebody traded KP, this linebacker, he's at the linebacker position, I'm gonna read off a couple of his attributes, and the guys in the DML who's been around for a while is gonna know why I have this question. He has a speed of 90 speed at the linebacker position, 87 acceleration.
My fault.
Who gave this guy to KP?
That's right here. This guy right here.
Oh my God, Jay.
Didn't you trade him Griffin too?
No. Well, I mean that's who he's talking about right now.
No.
He's talking about Olakun.
No,
I'm talking about. Yes.
Well, Griffin's fast too. Okay, they have the same speed.
He got
okay, my fault. Yeah, he's a freak. I didn't give him Olcom. That was questionable. That guy's in the league. He's been in here for 7 years already. That guy's starting to get up there. He's a freak.
Now I want to know, did KP just struck gold and found this guy somewhere in free agency? But if somebody traded this guy to the Kansas City Chiefs, I need y'all to come, to the front lines and please understand when you're dealing with a user like KP. Jay knows this because Jay heard this week after week.
I learned it.
You do not give this man speed at the linebacker position. But moving on, this Kansas City Chiefs team, they look good this year. But when it comes to the playoffs, they seem to get the short end of the stick of the Madden BS. Is this the year that we finally see these Chiefs make a deep run and hang his first banner in the Madden 2019 cycle?
It's I would love to see it. I root for him as well. I like his game, and I like seeing Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes. And like you said, this defense is nasty. At the time, I was one of those little rookie DML users, and the boy brought some lube over and pulled my pants down. Next thing I knew, I was missing my fast linebacker. I still got Kareem Hunt out of the deal. Whether I would have drafted one, who knows? Kareem Hunt's still on this team, and he usually finishes top 5 rushing for me. But I think if I had to do it again, I would have just toughened up and built Griffin myself. But to get back on the Kansas City, he just really has to collect himself. Every year it seems like there's just that one or two play that you're just looking at Madden and being like, are you kidding me? Are we still dealing with this kind of animation? Depending on the matchup, I'd love to see him. I'd like to see even him maybe first the Jags over there, or even him versus Bruce again, because that was a big hyped out thing, and then Bruce kind of pulled away with that game. So it's going to be a tough road for him. I'd love to see this upcoming matchups. I haven't really looked at him. I think this is a little high for him. I maybe even would have swapped him with Expert or something. But he's earned it. He's put up the stats. So you can't really argue the spot too much. This is a well-built team, and touche for him kind of bringing this team together.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, man. So what's your thoughts, man? Ray, on these Chiefs?
I think he's right where he needs to be, man. He went 15-1. I mean, he has the best record in the DML. The only loss came to Bruce. I mean, it was a 23-20 ball game. So, I mean, he was 3 points away from having a perfect season. I think last year in the playoffs, he kind of got in his own head in the Super Bowl against Addy. I think they both kind of, knew it was game time and it was prime time for the both of them. I think he kind of, got in his own head a little bit. But KP said it out loud himself multiple times. I've heard him on different shows that balance is his key. Mm-hmm. He's got a beast at running back in Darius Geis, and I know he loves to throw the football. I mean, he likes to chunk the ball to all them receivers. But for him to take one home, he's got to be able to run the football, man. Because in the playoffs, you play a lot of good users. In the AFC, there's a lot of good DBs. And for him to be able to come clutch and hang a banner this cycle, he's going to have to run the football, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy one. But, you got some new blood cracking the number one slot. And that number one guy is Bruce and those Baltimore Ravens. I don't like seeing him up here at the number one slot because it's my division mate, but the dude is a baller. He's a baller, man. He's a baller. He comes in ranked with a 79 overall team, which is crazy. 10th in points per game, putting up 23. 20th in total offensive yards per game, putting up a total of 277. And on the defensive side of the ball, this is why this guy had to be number one, because his defense is nasty. First in points allowed, only giving up a total of 11 points per game, which is crazy. First in defense total yards allowed, only giving up a total of 197 yards. When you talk Baltimore, baby, I don't know what Bruce decided to do when he took over this organization, but he got that atmosphere that I'm talking about when they had Ray Lewis out there. When they had Ed Reed, T Sizzle, like that. Like, this dude, man, is building. He's building off of that culture, that foundation that the Baltimore Ravens are known for, man. And watching this guy play this season, the offense, the run game is solid. The pass game is okay, but with this defense, then they added Jamal Adams to the equation. Oh my God. I'm interested to see if this guy can hang his second better than the DML, but I'm going to let y'all dig in on this one. What's your thoughts on him coming at the number one slot?
It's pretty impressive, man. I mean, Bruce is another baller, man. His defense is nasty. His defense is number one. I think it's been in the top three the last couple of seasons. Mm-hmm. I mean, he just had a guy join the 99 club and Femi Klein. Mm-hmm. And like you said, with Jamal Adams and those guys he's got in the defense, I mean, he's tough to beat, man. When you're only giving up 11 points, I mean, that's solid, man. It's hard to beat guys when you're only giving up 11. I mean, his offense struggles at times. He doesn't really have much of a passing game, so that kind of worries me. But he's proven the past couple of seasons that he can win without a passing game. As long as he can ride Alex Collins and Todd Gurley, them boys in the backfield, and play the defense he's been playing the last couple of years, I mean, he can easily hang a banner again, man. His defense wins championships, man. So him being number one, I think he deserves that spot.
Yeah, rightfully owned. Bruce is my guy. Definitely, like you said, you hit a little spots. His offense can be a little shaky at times. I know he loves if he can get the run game going, he could care less if he could throw for 300 yards. He just wants the W. The guy knows football, especially on defense. And the DML messed up once again for letting him snake his way to go draft Philip Shantley, another linebacker, to just go along with this defense. Philip has 15 sacks and 3 interceptions, and he's got 68 tackles. He leads the team in tackles as a rookie that already was a defense that was established, being in the top 3 for several years. So this is my pick to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC. I'm looking for. It's a great spot to see him at number one, rightfully owned, because I know when he actually won it, a lot of us were sleeping on him, and I think he was ranked a little bit lower, and that motivated him. So now the tables have turned. The expectations are high. You're number one, big dog. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, man, and not even snake his way. Like, it seemed like every single season, this dude was just making key moves, and every single time it was on, the defensive side of the ball. So I don't understand dudes, is blind to what's going out there in Baltimore, but you need to pay attention, But I'm interested to see if he can do what the people said, achieve greatness this postseason. But just to review the list, we had coming at the number 10 slot, under 2 rated. Coming in at the number 9 slot, we had the Boston Chicago Bears. Coming in at the number 8 slot, we had Andy Forrest on those LA Chargers. Coming in at the number 7 slot, we had Ray and those Philadelphia Eagles. Coming in at the number 6 slot, we had Typework and those Miami Dolphins. Cracking the top 5, we had Expert Jacksonville Jaguars coming in at the number 5. Number 4, we had Sweets 99 those San Francisco 49ers. Number 3, 85 in those Saints. Number 2, KP in those Chiefs. And number 1, that guy Bruce in those Baltimore Ravens. Drop a comment, man. Let us know your thoughts on if we got the list right, got the list wrong. Hey, come up with your own list. But I appreciate y'all guys jumping on the show with me, man. It's always a pleasure to sit down, man, do things like this with y'all guys. I'm your host, OG Chris Murray. We out.